Hi guys, this is Stormouse03. It's time for some more Resident Evil 7. This is the first DLC, banned footage one, and I'm going to be showing you how to get through Nightmare mode to get your achievement or trophy called Dead Before Dawn. And so when you start this mode, I'm starting with a couple of things here that you will not have when you first start this mode, so my recommendation is play it a few times, get used to how it feels, get used to how it plays, and you will, over the course of that time, unlock a couple of the things that I have. It only takes a couple 100,000 points accrued over the course of your playthroughs, so they add up. Each playthrough keeps adding to each other to unlock new things. And so you'll unlock the 3 healing first aids that you'll have at the beginning, and you'll unlock some additional scrap. And so those are the 2 important things that I have that you won't have at the very beginning when you first start out this mode, that I'd really recommend playing through a couple of times and unlocking those things. You can also unlock the circular saw at 300,000, and I definitely recommend getting that for the Night Terror mode, which is this mode but on hard difficulty, and you unlock that by completing Nightmare mode. And so hopefully by the time you unlock that mode, you'll have 300,000 points that you've earned over the course of doing this a couple of times. But if not, I would just play it again and unlock that. So my basic strategy here at the beginning is to spend as few of your scrap points as possible in order to kill these first creatures and save up enough scrap to buy the corrosive. And so if you've played it enough, you may have enough scrap at the beginning to buy the corrosive. But if you haven't unlocked that, then this is definitely a good strategy. So we're sitting here, the turret, the first level of the turret only costs 100 scrap. We turned on both of the scrap machines, so they're both creating scrap for us. And we spent 100 scrap on this pistol and 10 more bullets for the pistol. So you see that the turret is now out of ammunition. And so we're going to go collect our scrap and try to squeeze around some of these enemies here. Movement is really key in this game mode. You don't want to get to a situation where you are trapped and can't get out of the place where you are. So that had enough scrap that we are now able to buy our corrosive, which is fantastic. That's what we want, because we want to waste bullets, is apparently what I wanted to do. We want to go through here and open this door so that we'll have a nice path to run around and 3 scrap machines. So there's another door there, kind of near the first scrap room, that you can also open, and we'll be opening that later. But I really, really recommend getting this one first, because you have a whole lot more area. Here's your 3rd scrap machine. You have a whole lot more maneuverability, a lot bigger of an area to run through, and that other room is just a room, and it's very, very easy to get trapped in there. And so that is my definite recommendation, to open that room first. And now we're just going to kite around, collect scrap, and kill a couple of enemies. You can also use these traps if you see an opportunity. They only cost 100 scrap each, but they do not reload. So once you use one, it is gone for the entire mode. So we want to use our traps, and we want to use our turrets sparingly, because once they're gone, they're gone. The turrets will have 3 phases to them. The first phase is just kind of like a pistol shot, and they cost 100 scrap each. After you've used them, I'm going to put one in there. After you've used them once, they'll kind of run out of ammo, and then you can reload them for 500 scrap, and that they're kind of like a machine gun shot. So they're a little bit more powerful at phase 2, and then after they're out of ammo the second time, you'll have phase 3, which is a shotgun shot, and they cost 1,000 scrap. And then after phase 3 is done on each turret, they're done. So you want to try to kind of spread them out throughout your waves so that you're not using them all at the beginning. You do want to kind of use your resources throughout the entire 6 waves. So that was the end of the first wave. You see that I'm really just prioritizing some ammo right now. So I'm picking up a shotgun. I'm picking up some shotgun ammo. You're going to have Jack at the end of the second wave. And he is not super tough, but he can definitely put some hurt on you if you let him. So shotgun is a definite recommendation for him. At the beginning of each wave is a good time to run around and collect some of the scrap, because there's not too many enemies yet floating around. And so these pistol bullets are pretty cheap. You want to try not to waste them, but you also don't want to die. So just bear in mind, if it costs you a couple of extra pistol shots to make sure that you're going to kill the enemy in front of you, take them. And when you see a bunch of enemies like that grouped up, it's a good idea to run the other direction. Just kite them around. Use your area. Here's turret number 3. And when I say turret number 3, I mean it's the third one, not it's the third phase. That's why I couldn't get up the stairs. So yeah, definitely when you start to get surrounded, you want to be moving. Be moving and find a path that you can go through without too much resistance. Pick up your scrap. And when we get 2,500 scrap, we can buy the next corrosive. I went ahead and put in phase 2 turret, so you'll see how it's a machine gun. So that costs me 500, and now I still have enough to go in here and grab our second corrosive to get this second door open so that we can turn on the scrap machine. And the rest I'm putting into handgun ammo. You can also buy skills for your character. I didn't buy any in this particular playthrough. You'll see me buy some on my Night Terror playthrough. But you can upgrade your skills, like you can upgrade your health, you can upgrade your healing, so that each first aid does more healing to you. You can upgrade your speed. So there's lots of useful things that you can upgrade in that skills section. So when Jack shows up, he usually shows up around the entrance to this area, which is in that top floor there. And so if you put a couple of traps around where he is going to be coming through, that will be helpful. And so I'm just going to sort of post up here in this area. Once you have played through a couple of times, you probably unlock the ability to have those explosive barrels that you can set around the room. And those are very, very useful, especially in the later waves. So for sure, use those. And again, if you don't have all of these things unlocked, you will very quickly. Just give it a couple of tries and you'll likely unlock that. So when you can hear him talking, I couldn't find where he was. But he is probably coming through that door that's underneath and behind where I am now. I keep looking in that direction, but I never did see him. Go ahead and use a first aid. Make sure you have health, because he can definitely do some damage. There he is. And now we just want to run away from him, use some of these traps, and use your shotgun on him. The traps are really helpful with Jack because they slow him down and hurt him. And he is very quick. He is deceptively fast. And so I'm just kiting him through both of these areas where he's going to get shot by my turrets and get blown up by some of these traps, and shoot him with my shotgun, and there he goes. So not too terrible on him that time. You'll see him again at the end, and he's a lot tougher. So here we are, wave 3. And this wave is kind of a little bit of a breather after Jack. At the end of it, you will have a couple of the big fat molded that spit acid at you, but they're not too bad. I would recommend if you can get a grenade launcher. That really helps with them. But come through here, grab your scrap. You see how this room is just... It's difficult because you get trapped in there really, really easily. So we're going to go ahead and get that grenade launcher and then pick up a couple of flame rounds for it so that we can have it for later. And we're going to take out some of these molded and get back out of this area. If you know you're going to get hit, block. It is helpful. And we're going to kite these guys. You don't want to get trapped in a room. And so that's why instead of killing them, my objective there was just to get out of that room. Those two rooms over on that side of the house are really irritating. And that's why, as quickly as possible, I opened up this route here. You can't open the door from that side, by the way. You needed to go through the corrosive in order to unlock that door that I just went through, because it is locked from that side. So I really like this corner right here on this particular turret, because there's only two directions that they can come from, and you have pretty good line of sight on both of them, and the turret will help you as they're coming from both directions. That level 1 turret, though, is about to be out of ammo. Yep, and there it is. And so now we're going to put a level 2 on there. And yeah, right now you're pretty set for all of the big purchases that you're going to make. In that skill upgrade, there is also one that costs 2,500 scrap to make the scrap machines give you 50% more scrap each time, and that might be worth it if you go ahead and purchase it kind of early, but I didn't use that, didn't need to use that, had plenty of scrap without it. And so there's our level 3 turret. And so that one's going to do some work for us, and then it's going to be done. So if you're kiting enemies around, then you're gonna get more use out of those turrets because you'll keep them alive for a little bit longer. You always want to make sure you have a few first aids, and you always want to make sure that you're stocked up on ammunition for your pistol and your shotgun. So here's our first fat molded. We're going to use the grenade launcher on him. We're going to use the shotgun on these elite molded. I forget what they're called. The ones with the black crazy arms of doom. Whenever it gives you that warning, it means that pretty much all of the rest of the enemies that are going to spawn on the level are going to spawn, and you need to just kill whatever's left before the wave can end. After 40 seconds, the compactors, that's what they're called. I call them scrap machines, but they're called compactors, are going to stop making scrap, and so that's not usually a big deal, especially if you're moving around in between them. Because you're usually collecting the scrap that you need. So I purchased an adrenaline. That's another thing that you unlock by having a couple 100,000 scrap. And what it does, basically, is it makes it so that if you die, you get kind of a free death. I think it reloads all your health, and you get to continue playing where you would have died. And so that's very helpful. Because you don't want to get, I don't know, just random stuff happen to you and get stuck doing this over again on one of the later waves. And it only costs 300 scrap, the first one that you get. And so I'd say right about now is a good time to purchase that, just in case you get caught out. So that was the second version of that particular turret. Gonna keep making sure we're stocked up on ammo, stock up on first aids. And we're gonna keep using these turrets to our advantage. You'll have several of these little four-legged mold, which are just the worst. I hate them probably more than any of the other enemies because they're just so fast. So going through now and setting up some traps. So you have these barrels that you can use to blow up some mold. You also have some of the wire traps still. This guy just did not want to die. 4 shotgun shells because I was shooting him in the legs. The little traps on the floor are nerve gas traps, and they'll slow down enemies as they're running through them, which is useful. Again, those are things that you unlock by having some points. I got really beat up coming into this room. That's why you want to make sure that you have first aid and you are stocked. Purchase more shotgun ammo. Should probably buy some more first aids. I did not, but I will. And then just kiting enemies. The times when you are in the most danger are when you are trapped in a room. These hallways are so much better because you can get out of them. Come back to my favorite spot over here in the corner. And clean up the rest of these enemies. Definitely I started using my shotgun as my main weapon here toward the end. Because you just have a lot more stopping power with it. It'll knock enemies over. It does more damage, obviously. So when you see some of those barrels start to explode, that's usually because the fat molded have blown them up with their, oh dear, with their acid stuff. Come through here. Gonna lay some traps for these fat guys. And you'll see when you get them to cluster up like that, it's a good moment to put some grenades into them. I think there are 3 at the end of this particular wave. And just be careful with them. Remember that they do explode once they are dead. They will explode on the ground. So you just want to not be near them when that happens. Alright, and so that is that.
It's almost morning. Keep it together.
End of wave 4. And so just like always, we're going to run around. We're going to collect scrap at the beginning of the wave. Buy some more flame ammo. More first aids, more shotgun shells. And always save some scrap to be able to buy some of these traps. And turrets.
When I'm done, I'm gonna burn this fucking house
because traps and turrets will definitely save your life. So try not to blow all of your scrap on ammo. Throw down that nerve gas trap. These little four-legged guys, they're irritating, aren't they? It's like, yep, I know you're back there. Yeah, you didn't buy first aids earlier, did you, dummy? Keep first aid stocked. Just saying. So there's phase 3 of that particular turret, which is good. It's good. You want to save them for these later waves, so using them a little bit progressively throughout is definitely what you want to do. Oh, and another thing, the more you can help out your turrets, the better. Because, like I said, they have a limited amount of ammo, and so helping them out by shooting enemies and things is good, because that helps them stay alive for a longer period of time. So anyway, we have to defeat Jack now, and he is probably going to come from straight ahead of us right there. He's going to have his little scissor saw things. And you shouldn't have too many other enemies left when he shows up if you've been killing them. Well, there he is. He came from the other direction. So his scissors are irritating because they do block a lot of your shots. You can shoot him in the head through them with your pistol, or if you pick up a magnum. I tried not to use too many of the explosive barrels earlier in the game because I wanted to save some of them for this boss fight right here. Because they definitely put some hurt on. As does the turret shots. Or as do the turret shots. He does move a lot more slowly with those scissors. But you definitely don't want him to get close to you. This right here is a bad situation. it is probably not worth going into that room. Just being real. Unless you really need that scrap, it is really probably not worth going in there. Pick up these other 2 nerve gas traps. Slow some things down. Let us take out the rest of these enemies. And this hallway right here is really good for hitting him with grenades. Because you get a nice clear shot of him. And he, like I said, he moves pretty slow. I do like to aim near his feet and legs just because he tends to not get hit by it, it seems. Sometimes it'll like just go through him if you aim at his body. But I'm telling you what, this guy takes some mega punishment. And the molded really become irritating at this point. Because right now, you just want to deal with Jack. You don't want to have all of these molded around, but what can you do? You can't really help it. They keep spawning. Eventually they will stop. Using a moment where he's kind of behind to take out some of the molded is a good choice. Buy yourself some first aids. Because another bad thing about when you get hurt that badly is you can't move as fast. It's funny how much punishment he takes. He walks right through grenade blasts. And you know that he's getting hurt because he's on fire. And so my strategy here was using the flame rounds on the grenade launcher. You could also purchase the Magnum and use that. That's the weapon that I use for him in the Night Terror mode. But as you can see, either way works. We still have one of these traps that we can use. Just be careful of those traps to not run into them. That's why I only set them when I am pretty sure somebody's going to set one off. And you heard it explode in the background. Because I've definitely had the problem before where I set one up and nobody triggered it, and then when I was running back through I forgot that I had set it up and it killed me, or it nearly killed me. Usually one blast won't kill you if you're at full health, but it's not good because you fall on the ground and it's just no good. No bueno. Bueno? Not good. So keep peppering him with shots with your grenade launcher, your magnum, any other weapon that you have, and eventually he will die. I promise. It seems like he won't. It seems like he's invincible, but he will die.
It's over, boy.
There he goes. So that's Jack, and that is the end of Nightmare mode. So you will get your achievement or trophy, Dead by Dawn, ? And you'll be finished with that mode, and you'll unlock Night Terror mode, which is pretty much the exact same as this mode, except there are a few more of the difficult enemies, and it's set to hard difficulty instead of this, which presumably was normal or easy. And so, yeah. You'll see that we also unlocked a couple of extra perks. So there's your little perk tree. And definitely those things are helpful. They're definitely going to be helpful in our Night Terror run, which I will be showing you guys as well. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.